Hey, welcome back to the Disney Plus Everyday Challenge, and today we have The Big Green. This is a 1995 film, about an hour and 39 minutes. It is sports. Another one of this sports, overcoming the the underdogs overcoming. What do you call it? It's been a long weekend. Overcoming strife and infighting or inability or no talent or this time they're not fighting racism, thankfully, although there is a certain element in it. But in this case, we've had a recent Glory Road had basketball. Remember the Titans had football. We're now doing soccer or football, depending on what country you're from. But we have kids in Texas they're basically from a really small town in Texas. It's very run down. There is nothing to do, and apparently this is a school. Either they are the entire class of the school. I don't know, or like this town is so small that there's like 10 kids in the school, or they're the only 10 kids that we ever see, and they're the misfits. Or if they were the entire school and were misfits, that's pretty bad. And somehow they have an exchange program for teachers. I don't understand, because that exchange program for teachers brings in Olivia Dabo. You have to pronounce the apostrophe Dabo. Olivia Dabo, just perennially gorgeous, very British. Olivia Dabo, and she comes to this small town as as a school teacher, and when she first arrives, when we first see her, she notices four kids laying out in a field being attacked by pigeons by choice because there's nothing else to do. They throw Cheetos on themselves and then wait for the pigeons to descend upon their bodies to pick them clean. Yes, that's apparently a thing that they've decided to put in a script. Hopefully, that's a thing that did not happen in real life to whoever wrote the script. But who wrote that? Writer Holly Goldberg Sloan. She also directed the film. Uh, okay, let's assume that's hopefully not a thing, that kids are so bored. In 1995, the internet's really not a big thing yet. Uh, but so I guess your only option is to have yourself attacked by birds after covering yourself with Cheetos. Yeah, so Olivia shows up and she tries to teach these kids, and they all treat her like crap. They're all pretty much jerks for the most part, or they're just too sweet and innocent, and they go along with the ride with all the other jerky kids in class. One of which is Larry. He's this super ginger, red-haired kid. You've seen him. His famous line in The Sandlot is "You're killing me, Smalls." But he's in this one also. It's another sports movie. That was a baseball. His name's Patrick Renna, and he is sort of a ringleader of the jerks in a sense. But at least he's the most well known in this cast at the time. So they treat her like crap when she's trying to teach them anything. And at some point, she just gives up and says, "All right, let's go outside and kick this globe around that I've just broken, and I'm going to teach you football." They're like, "What? Football looks like something else." "Okay, soccer." So she decides to teach them soccer. By the way, even before this, she gets the attention, of course. Olivia Dabo showing up in any small town would draw the attention of every uh, man within a 30-mile distance easily. But she draws the attention of the sheriff, played by Steve Guttenberg, Mr. Police Academy. he he sort of creeps on her with his police car, like while she's out jogging. He like follows her in the police car, drives backwards even just to keep up with her. He's sort of eventually, and by the way, the kids treat him like crap. Also, he gets no respect. They call him deputy do right. I don't know what it is. I can't remember what it is, but they insult him. They they throw the balls that they have at the car. He gets no respect whatsoever, and he's pretty much a bumbling fool as it is. He used to be a football star back when this town was the home of the Armadillos, the biggest football team in Texas. And if you know Texas, you know that high school football is a pretty big deal. Well, at some point, this town was a big deal until it wasn't anymore due to no more kids playing football, I guess. So bringing in soccer doesn't really excite the town necessarily because it's foreign football. That's a foreign sport. People in America don't play that. The kids basically tell the teacher that right out, and yeah, she still pushes him on, and she even pushes him along with the help of Steve Guttenberg, who plays Sheriff Tom Palmer. The two of them, because he's kind of has a crush on her, he helps him out, and he knows all the kids too, even though they treat him like crap. They decide to work together to get these kids as part of a league, and they do it somehow. And they get a game like the next day. They're like, hey, by the way, we know we've not shown you how to play soccer at all. We haven't trained you. You haven't had a practice yet. We've shown you what a ball looks like, and you're going to go in and play tomorrow against the top team in the league. The season has just begun last week. You missed a game, but you're going to go in and play the best team in the league, the Knights, played by a misogynistic, creepy coach who also used to go to high school with Steve Guttenberg's character. He immediately gloms onto Olivia and is like, even later in the film, he like tries to make a bet on a game with her, like, hey, if we win, how about I get a kiss? Really, dude? And so she counters that with, hey, if we win, you're going to kiss our goat. Yes, there's a goat in the movie. There's a goat, technically as part of the team. He doesn't really officially play, but he's always with the kids. At least with the girls sort of drag him around. They just hang out outside the gas station and just do nothing, and the goat is there. It's cute. It's the goat is part of the animated opening sequence, the titles. The titles aren't very good at all. There's digital sequences here and there that they use for transitions to show the score throughout the season, but they're not good. And that opening sequence is very difficult to watch. But yeah, they of course, you know how this story goes. I really don't need to tell you. I mean, if you grew up with this film, you probably, and it's part of your childhood, you probably love it. I mean, the kids go from jerks to being lovable, and they get obnoxious after a while. And there's lots of little silly moments that are sped up for comedic effect. But there's a really good heartfelt sequence partway through the film, and the kids are really starting to get into playing the game, and they're really learning, and they're getting along, and it starts to rain, and their parents are actually have started coming out and watching them play as well, and they get in on the fun. And there's just a big sloppy, muddy, kicking the ball around, falling over, sliding, played to some sappy music, but whatever it is, it works, and it's a good emotional moment to show that that something good is being created here. Yes, maybe I'm a little sentimental, but the idea is that they're doing something that it means something that is actually changing their lives, and it's not just between them and the teacher or each other. It is bringing families together, and eventually that blows up as they start doing better and better. That blows up into the town, and the town starts supporting them. They show that in a sequence of the local bar where they just pan down the bar and you just see everybody, because this is before the internet, you see everybody just sitting at the bar. I don't even think there was beer on the counter. They were just reading magazines about soccer. And by the way, the coach reading a book on how to coach soccer. Okay. So it's a good time you started reading that book. Way to go. But yeah, there's that sequence. They build up, and so you get to, again, Texas takes their sport seriously, especially when it comes to football. And now in this case, the other football, soccer. And yeah, So the kids go through there. I'm not really spoiling anything. I'm spoiling everything, but I'm not really spoiling anything because you know how this movie goes. It's it's underdogs fighting the jerky creeps at the top of the food chain, and do they win? Do they lose? And does it matter in the end whether they win or lose? I put that in there just in case you don't know how it ends. But it's not a great movie by any means whatsoever. If you love this, it's more than likely because you saw it as a kid and you have a strong bit of nostalgic feelings for it, and that's all right. That is completely all right because there are great things about this movie. It's just not an overall like, oh my gosh, that is a great movie that says a lot or makes me feel things. It made me feel some things, and it was funny at parts. But the characters are fairly cliche and not very deep. The most depth you get out of this is one of the characters. Oh, they get picked on. The team that Olivia puts together is made of not just boys, which is what the sport is. It only allows boys on the teams technically, but they allow girls. They chose to have girls and little kids. There's like a little kid on the team, and they're like, okay, we'll play you because we're just gonna beat the crap out of you. But okay, you have girls and children on your team. They're all children, but still. There's one girl on here. I can't find her name. Where are you? Her name's Kate in the movie. Jessica Robertson plays Kate, and you can tell from the very beginning she's very tomboyish, and she's just not very. She's very closed in on herself. She doesn't like people. You get to learn a little bit more about her. She starts to grow as being one of the main characters. I thought the red-haired kid was going to be the main character because he was the most famous, and he's on the posters, dead center. But it's more a movie that, if you're going to have any story about the kids, any kids that have a story arc, it's going to be her, about Kate, and how she starts to open up with the kids and Olivia as she gets more into soccer. But she has a hard home life. Her mom is gone, and her dad is drunk pretty much all the time. Drunk and broke. And her dad, by the way, is played by John Terry, which some of you might recognize as Jack's dad from Lost. So when he's drunk, it doesn't look like him at all. When he cleans up a bit, you're like, that's Jack's dad from Lost. I can't remember Jack's last name, but his dad's Christian. Anyway, so yeah, there's not a humongously well-known cast beyond Olivia and Steve Guttenberg, but it's got a decent crew involved. Yeah, I think I had one more thing to tell you, but it really probably doesn't matter. You're either gonna not watch this at all because you don't care, or you're gonna rewatch it because you already love it. It might be not the thing that somebody's going to just go running out and go, oh my gosh, I need to see that. It's not one of those movies. But if you like soccer and you like 90s movies, I think maybe you can give it a chance and you might like it. I don't know. It's family friendly. It's meant for kids and families to enjoy together. You're not going to find anything offensive about it whatsoever, other than like rampant misogyny. It's kind of not rampant, but enough of it that it's just, come on, dude. It's creepy. Anyway, here we go. Let's pick tomorrow's episode.
411.
411. Oh, you closed again. Come on. 411. Huh, okay. I don't know what this is, but it's a series. We'll probably just watch 1 or 2 episodes and see how it goes. But it is Pick of the Litter. I imagine there is puppies involved. Possibly. I don't know. We'll see. Alright, we'll come back here tomorrow with Pick of the Litter on the Disney Plus Everyday Challenge. See you then.